welcome back to the dark side of the Shoalhaven. So today I'm going to be continuing talking about paranormal encounters of the Shoalhaven. And these two locations that I'm going to do today are both really well known. Everyone knows these buildings. So, first one, pretty well known. I'll call it the Grace Brothers building. But originally, when it was built, it was known as Richmond's House, or the People's Emporium. And it supplied a vast array of goods for the people of the Shoalhaven. And it was John McArthur and Sons who actually built it. Not the builders, but they were the family that owned the business. They also owned an adjoining business which joined by tunnel underneath the road. And this other building was actually previously known as Red Rose Cafe in Junction Street. So the tunnels are still there, and the reason for these tunnels was actually to transport money safely between the two businesses and whatever else. So it was at times used to supply the Agricultural Society. John McArthur was actually one of the founders of the Agricultural Society. So sometimes it had like farm feed and hay and things like that actually stored in there. Sometimes it actually had clothing and, you know, stock that could have been damaged by the water down there. So, coming to the spirit of the Grace Brothers building, it's always rumoured to be known as a man named Claude. Okay, so all of the sightings, he actually does appear in old farmer clothes and a hat, a farmer's hat. And he doesn't necessarily look like a farmer, but you know, he looks cool in his gear and all of that. Now, people who have worked in the building and that, you know, they coined a name for him, which is Claude. I doubt very much that his name is Claude. So the story is that this Claude was sadly drowned in the tunnels when they flooded, and he was down there doing some work or whatever. There's absolutely no record to verify that, but there is a strong possibility that this farmer fellow is John McArthur, who, although he owned businesses and things like that, he was known to wear farmer gear because he was into agricultural shit, man. So there's probably a good chance that it's him. So it is no secret in Nowra that this building has some strange happenings, some phenomenon, if you will. So there's always been electrical occurrences. Okay, so you know, shops always have that background music playing and things like that. So this witness account actually came from somebody who worked in the building towards the end of the time that it was Grace Brothers. And they report that the music stopped repeatedly for no reason. Okay, so the rest of the power was fine and everything, but the music stopped for no reason. Someone would fix it and it would jump, play a different song, things like that. This wasn't an isolated incident either. The lights from another worker, this is from another worker, an older lady, the lights used to play up. So a lot of electrical things. Now, there was actually a photo of this apparition which appeared in the newspaper a very long time ago. And I have observed this photo and it is just light. It's sunlight. But there definitely is a presence there. So a lot of people don't know this, but the wall of the building that faces towards the Postman's Tavern, that was originally living quarters. So when it was Spotlight, actually, the party section, that part of the building, a lot of people had some little things happen there. I myself was shopping for my son's 3rd birthday party and was walking down the aisle, and a whole tray of these little party favours that my son had actually been annoying me about, he wanted, I already had a basket full, so I said no, and we were walking off and the whole tray just came out and went all over the floor. And you know, like, what do you do with that? It's like, do that. But I picked them all up and I put them back and just kind of pushed it out. But another thing, like, spend your money in my shop, bitch. So yeah, I just get the feeling that it's probably, if anyone, it is John McArthur. It just makes sense. So yeah, he is the guy sort of behind the Nowra show in a way when you think about it, because the Agricultural Society were the ones who got the Nowra show going. So yeah. So the next one I'm going to do actually is to do with the Nowra show. It is the Nowra showground. So there's a couple up there. So one, I can't actually find any connection as in a death at the location, but there's obviously an association of some sort, and even looking into the history of the society and all of that, there's too many Georges. George is such a common name, so I gave up, but we'll still talk about it. So in 1881, the land on which the showground that we know now, so it's a lot bigger, the space that we know now is a lot bigger than what it was back then, but it was dedicated as a recreational reserve. And the trees, those beautiful magnolias and things that go around, they were actually planted not long after, and yeah, the Agricultural Society was behind that, so John McArthur. So as I said, he was the founder of the society. So the Nowra show actually is old. It began in 1886 and it's happened every single year since, except for 1929 due to floods. No, it wasn't due to floods, it was due to drought. And again in 1942 because the military were actually occupying that space. Oh, and now because of COVID. Okay, so it's been going on for a very, very long time. So the pavilion up at the showground, there is a presence there named George. I'll go up there one day and I'll actually talk to George and find out what his story is. But you know, he's happy there and he's not stuck there or anything, so don't get sad. But John McArthur, same dude, same farm clothes. He actually, yeah, he frequents the showground, and not one part in particular, but you will actually see him around the pavilion. And yeah, why not? Because he is a bit of a founding father of the agricultural side of things. Yeah, so I will just leave it at that, because it's kind of a John McArthur. It was all John McArthur pretty much, but I thought I'd just do those two, leave that. I'll do another one, yeah, the end of the week. Alright, that's it. I won't even say don't come to Nowra because that wasn't even too bad. John McArthur's not that bad.